what happened to our movement, which began with the idea that we at the bottom, black and white together, if we stood up, we could bring everyone with us because we were at the bottom. How did that movement, which grew out of the left, out of the protests against the war in Vietnam, and the radical movement that wanted a more egalitarian society in the 60s, become inflicted with the kind of corporate feminism of Hillary Clinton, who, against Bernie's advocacy of a $15 minimum wage, advocated instead $12.50, even though 2/3 of minimum wage workers are women, often women with children. Or Sheryl Sandberg, CEO at Facebook's book, Leaning In, which is how women at the top should support each other. And she talks about how anyone can do it as a woman. You can have children and also have a brilliant career. And she doesn't mention in her book, something I found out later, which that she had 9 full-time servants, which of course helps raising children, doing housework, so that you have time and energy for a career. At any rate, how did this happen? How did the movement go from wanting equality for all, morph into an equality for women within a system of ever greater inequality? The movement really, second wave, is started in 1968 with notes from the first year periodical from the Women's Liberation Movement, the first one. How did it go from advocating equality for all to equality within a system of vast inequality in the United States? In 1970, America was the most egalitarian nation of all the developed wealthy nations. Now it's the least. And now the demands for economic equality are not really known as part of the feminist movement. A steady stream of propaganda pushing women that men were the problem. Gloria Steinem's contribution was a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. So instead of saying, look, we all need to work together to change all those things that divide us, it was a separatist movement to keep us apart for obvious reasons. Because if people at the bottom realize their common cause, the tiny minority at the top is in trouble. So that was part of it. The CIA and the constant stream of propaganda, as well as those things that were racist and sexist from the start, that were part of our history. As early as the American Revolution, Jane Addams has very famous writings to her husband, John Adams, in the original government and original signer of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, that, wait a minute, what about the other half of the population? But by keeping women in a subordinate position, you kept women taking care of the mass of the workforce, and you gave men a feudal prerogative that they were the head of the feudal manor, which was the home. And they had full-time servants in women, full-time sexual servants, full-time housekeepers, full-time connectors with themselves, relatives, friends, full-time emotional workers to help them feel better after a hard and exploited day at work, and also help keep a family system which pushes men not to organize, because women need the money to keep the household going, and you have divisions within the family of the man who wants to go on strike and the woman who needs the funds to keep the household going, rather than a man and woman on strike together who understand each other's plight. And so it was a very clever ploy that has its tentacles squeezing the women's movement to this day, keeping men and women separate, when together we can make a change, and individually and separately we can't.